Hello and welcome back to another episode of God Bless Fantasy Football, Halloween edition. I didn't get the memo to know we're dressing up today.
How do you not get the memo for Halloween? Halloween is on the same day every year.
I know it is, but I didn't know we were dressing up for the show.
You acted like, oh, I didn't get the memo for Halloween. It's been Halloween on the calendar since January 1st.
This is true. This is true. I guess I can be we have a broken furnace guy.
Oh, is that how that works?
That's what I am.
Do we have a broken furnace here at the office?
No, my house does.
Oh, fair enough. You look like you did just get out of an igloo. So
Yep. So we're going to go with that.
At least you look warm. Unlike me, who's wearing a costume I got down the road for $20, 50% off. It was $40 initially. My mustache is gone because I wore this on Saturday for the hockey game. But I am Ted Lasso.
There you go.
But since I don't have the mustache, like you'd be better off wearing this outfit today than I would. I go by Led Tasso.
Great pivot there.
I am his alter ego, non-mustache, poorly presented, not very good looking alter ego, Led Tasso, at your service.
Thank you. Well,
I talk fantasy football. He coaches football. It's kind of similar, right?
we go hand in hand together.
It's a fantasy, because it's a TV coach, right? So that's a fantasy. I'm living a fantasy right now.
In our fantasy league, we're first place again.
Let's go. That's huge. I was struggling this week, and I'm struggling in a lot of leagues. I only stole one win. I've been in injury trouble, especially at the quarterback position. Like, can you believe that for a hot sec? Like, I have Jalen Hurts in one league, but in my other leagues, I am running the tandem of Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence now that Anthony Richardson is out for the year. Yeah. Right. And I say now as if he hasn't been out for the year since like week 4 what was it? And then in another league, I haven't had Justin Fields, who's a great fantasy quarterback. Like, people may hear Justin Fields' name and be like, ugh. But Justin Fields is a great fantasy quarterback because he puts up a ton of numbers. He gets rushing and passing. And I have been balancing Geno Smith, who has not performed like he did last season, along with I played Tyson Bagent last week.
Oh, geez.
Who did not score very many points. And the only other quarterbacks available are like Derek Carr and Sam Howell, and those are guys that I'll go after on the waivers this week. But it's hard to find guys to drop and not feel like I'm going to guess wrong at the quarterback position. Does that make sense?
Quarterback is hard this year because, like you've said, there's been so many injuries, and it's like every week I feel like
your boy Kirk went down.
Yeah, that was sad.
It's going to be sad for Jordan Addison owners. It's going to be sad for JJ owners when he comes back.
TJ Hawkinson.
Like, right now, yes, the Vikings are in position to still be in playoff contention. So you're going to have to get Justin Jefferson back on the field. But I don't know if there is a quarterback out there that will give those two guys the fantasy production that Kirk Cousins gives those two guys. I don't think there is. Is there a quarterback out there that can help Minnesota get to the playoffs? Sure. But I don't know if there's a quarterback that can match the production that he gives to both JJ and Addison.
Yeah, there isn't. And that's why it's so hard, because Kirk Cousins was having a great fantasy season. Like, he was
believe it or not, like, this is a guy I can't stand, but he always ends up on one of my fantasy teams, which he did end up on one of my fantasy teams this year. And kudos to Kirk Cousins. He put together some very solid weeks, but he's still Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk Cousins, his ceiling is 18 points. That's his ceiling. He can't ever get into the 20s or the 22s or the 25s or the 28s like the great quarterbacks. No, his ceiling is 18. Now, will he hit 18 more than he hits 12 or 14? Absolutely, which is why Kirk Cousins goes down as a very consistent fantasy quarterback. But I like the boom or bust, because in fantasy, as you know, you need the boom a lot more than you need the consistency.
Yeah, you need that, especially in a deep 12-man league like we're in. We luckily have gotten, we struck Colin Laporta. I actually picked up Dalton Kincaid last week.
That is a great pickup and has been a good pickup because he is finally seeing the targets I've been begging Buffalo to give him.
So he's finally getting there. And then, I mean, Darrell Henderson went off the weekend. We picked him up.
Yeah, now he just got demoted back down to the practice squad, but I think they still have one more, I don't know how they consider it, like in football, like in actual league terms.
Yeah.
But they have the ability to elevate him one more time. So I think they sent him down to then elevate him one more time. I don't know why they sent him down, if they had to make maybe like a roster spot for somebody else. And so they're probably doing some like sneak attack way to get around that rule.
Yeah.
But I know that there is still one more. I'm going to call it a tag. I don't think it's a tag. They have one more, we'll call it superpower, because I don't even know what it's called. One more superpower on Darrell Henderson.
Then Deontay Foreman, we have him now.
Yeah, and Deontay Foreman took a step back this week, and I think he'll continue to take some steps backward as long as Tyson Bagent is the quarterback. The Bears just don't move the football. They don't move it enough. Foreman got, 10 touches, 9 touches?
Yeah, he didn't get a lot.
And, Roschon was in the game a lot. Evans got the touchdown. It was just kind of a gross game against the Chargers. I don't know where I sit right now with Foreman. I wasn't expecting 3 touchdowns again.
No,
but I was expecting like 60-ish yards, and he barely got half of that. So rest easy, but don't dream big.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're in good shape being in first. I mean, we play Storm and Gorman this week, and I don't know the last time he's touched his team, if I'm being
so that's good. That's a good shot for us. But in other leagues, yeah, I don't even know how to navigate some of the waiver moves. There's not really much to pay attention to on the waiver wire unless you have a need like me at quarterback. And so it just boils down to who I'm going to drop to who I'm going to add. And that's kind of the rut I'm in. Derek Carr has a good matchup this week. I believe the Saints play the Bears, so that's why it's a good matchup for Carr.
And
as
Kamara.
Kamara he's a must start every week. The guy catches like 13 balls out of the backfield. It's insane. And then I still like Sam Howell against the Patriots. I like the Patriots even. It's not like, hey, fire up Sam Howell over Derek Carr, but I still like that. And keep an eye on Deshaun Watson, because he's getting available in some leagues since he got that throwing shoulder injured.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's only like 60% owned in most formats. They have Arizona this week. So just a lot of potential for some of these borderline quarterbacks. Now it's just a matter of who I decide to pick up at 11:59 tonight or throw a waiver in for.
Yeah. Bye weeks this week.
Yeah, and that's the other problem. Because I have Lawrence and Goff, who are both on the same bye week. So now I have to pick up a quarterback.
That's why I got we didn't have a backup quarterback or tight end. So I went and got Kincaid last week because I knew he was going to play good this week. So I was like, just thinking ahead. Laporte had a bye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know about the Carolina backfield.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard seems like the guy. He's at least ran the ball the best out of the bunch, but he didn't look very strong this past weekend. Miles Sanders only had 2 rushing attempts, though, for a majority of that game. I don't know if he ended up with any more, but he had 2 rushing attempts for no yards at one point.
Yeah.
But then you looked at Chuba Hubbard's stat line, and he had like 9 rushes for 7 yards. So I don't even know what they're going to try to do in Carolina. They came away with a win. I think Chuba's ran the ball better this season. And the Falcons, like, low-key have a decent rush defense, so I don't want to, like, take that away. But I think I'll ride Hubbard's train more than I'd ride Sanders.
So trade deadline, is that what, tonight?
Did I say the Falcons? I meant the Texans. Did I say the Falcons? I meant the Texans. The Texans have been good up front. Sorry.
So the trade deadline was that today?
Yeah, today. Trade deadline is Halloween Tuesday at 4:00. And you're going to see a lot of movement. I mean, the Bears have made an increase on defense already with Montez Sweat. They gave up a 2nd-round pick. I don't know how much I Like the Bears need pass rushing, and Sweat's he's a great addition. But I don't know how comfortable I feel with the Bears dealing at the trade deadline after what I saw out of Chase Claypool last year. Bears went out to get him. They gave up a second-round pick. They ended up with the number 1 pick in the second round, which is the 33rd pick in the NFL draft. That year was 32 because Miami was in the forego their first-round pick stage. So I'm a little uneasy with the move. I don't know what that does for you. Like, what are the Bears trying to accomplish this season? You're not going to win any more football games, so why go after Sweat unless you feel like you can keep Sweat? That's kind of the weird one to me. As for like giving up Jalen Johnson, that's what I more understand. Like the Steelers are interested in him. Let's get more than a Chase Claypool for Jalen Johnson, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't know how much I buy into getting a guy that I think his salary is like $6.3 million. I think that's Sweat's salary. So why are you going to take that on, even though you have a lot of cap space? Why are you going to try to take that on and give up a pick? You don't feel like you can find a Sweat in the second round, and that's guaranteeing that Sweat stays in place for, a good majority of time?
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of teams are going to make moves today. I don't think Derrick Henry is going to get moved.
I don't think so either. They seem reluctant to move him.
Not quite yet. I think Minnesota's going to get a quarterback. I was reading last night, Jameis Winston is pretty cheap on the market.
Jameis Winston would be a good quarterback for the Vikings to approach. He's proven. He's played a lot of snaps under center. Is he like, wow, awesome? We just got like a great replacement for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think he's that much of a step back from Kirk Cousins either. And there are bigger steps you can take, which is the direction they're going right now with their backups currently. And I don't think Nick Mullins is the answer when he comes off IR in week 9.
No. I mean, Carson Wentz is available. You don't have to trade anything for Carson Wentz.
That's true too. I think Trey Lance would be an interesting addition. Like, I really believe Trey Lance. I mean, he's from Minnesota. He played at North Dakota State. He knows the elements of the weather up there. And, why not give the former 3rd overall pick a chance? I'm not saying he's going to light the world on fire. And maybe this would have been a better move for the Vikings to get him in the offseason so that he could work under Kirk Cousins and get ready, because I think he could be a really good backup. I just I kind of wonder about that experiment. Maybe it's too far reaching because he's too green. He may be too vanilla for what the Vikings need right now, but I think his potential is still through the roof.
Well, I remember when he was getting the trade talks at the beginning of the year, Minnesota was in the trade talks to get him at the time before he went to Dallas. So they had their eye on him. I mean, he's not getting reps in Dallas. He's 3rd string in Dallas.
Yeah, if that. He's right now listed 3rd on the depth chart, but he gets scratched almost every game.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this. I looked up Sweat a little bit more on that trade because I didn't look too far into it up until this point. He is on the last year of his contract, and he could sign elsewhere in free agency next year. So you give up a 2nd-round pick, which is going to be a good pick, right? The Bears are going to have a good pick. Why make this move? I don't know. But he's a great player. He's a great pass rusher. Are you trying to win more games? You're not going to win games.
You shouldn't. With the position you're at right now is where everyone is the teams that are going to make trades today are pushing to get deeper in the playoffs or to make the playoffs. If you're the Bears this year, you want to be the top 2 pick.
This doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Because, like we've said before, you can either stay with Justin Fields, or you can get Caleb Williams. And
look, if you can guarantee me Sweat's going to stay, like you're going to sign him after free agency, and like maybe that's what's in the works, then great, make this move, because that's a really good move for the Bears. But he's going to expect a lot of money, and are you going to give him that amount of money to stay and play in Chicago? Because if so, perfect. We got our pass rusher that we've desperately needed. But can you guarantee me that right now? And if you can't, you give up the potential 35th pick in next year's draft? Like, let me tell you guess when Sweat was drafted? He was a first-round pick, but guess when he was drafted? 27th. Do you know the difference between 35 and 27, Brando? That is 8 picks. You're telling me you can't find a Sweat 8 picks later? That's what you're telling me? I know that there's a difference between proven and unproven, right? Mm-hmm. Why take a chance when you have the for sure option? But you have to guarantee me the for sure option is going to stay, because if he doesn't and you lose Sweat too, we just sacrificed a potential Sweat.
Yeah, it's a risky move, to say the least. Who do you think is what team is going to make the most noise today in the trade?
A team to make the most noise. I think Adams needs to be traded. I think Davante Adams has to go and the Raiders have to let him go. Will they? I don't know, but they have to let him go for the sake of him as a player and for the sake of what they could get out of him. Because there's going to come a point in time where he's going to demand a trade, which he's kind of already there, right?
After last night, yeah, he's there.
He's going to be like, hey, either you trade me or I'm not playing. And then you still pay me while I'm not playing. There's going to be a point. So you might as well get everything you can for him. Davante Adams, I think, needs to find a new home. If he does find a home, he'll have to go to a contender. Could you imagine if he lands on the Chiefs? Could you imagine? That'd be unreal. That'd be unbelievable.
Give up a lot, though.
Yeah, but to get a guy like Adams, man, how much longer does Davante Adams have on his contract in Las Vegas? Any idea?
Say a year or two, I believe.
So he signed a 4-year deal, and he has the potential out after 2025. So he has this year and next year. Okay. When you look at Adams, for 2 years, the Raiders could get a lot for that. If you look at 1 year for Adams before the potential out, now you're in different territory. He's an interesting option for me. I think Dalvin Cook's a name to watch. Who needs a running back? A lot of teams right now. A lot of teams are in desperate need of a good running back. Dalvin Cook could be on the move and should be on the move today. If I could see Dalvin Cook in a great position, I could see him really succeeding in Carolina. I could see him really succeeding in, I'm going to try to think contender here.
Not the Bills. Bills got Latavius Murray. Not Latavius Murray. Leonard Fournette.
I could see him in Baltimore.
That backfield's already messed up, though, with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill already.
Yeah, but you add Dalvin Cook, and you can make Dalvin Cook your workhorse. You can absolutely give that guy the ball more times than not. I wouldn't throw him in Miami. I think he'd hate his life there. As much as they win games, I don't see that happening. The Bills are kind of interesting to me. James Cook is there.
But they just got playoff Lenny.
Yeah, and they did. Remember how I said?
Yeah, you
remember I said pick up Leonard Fournette. So yeah, the Bills are probably out. But I thought pairing up the bros at in Buffalo could be something that I could see. At the end of the day, Dalvin Cook is going to be on the move. Antonio Gibson's probably going to be on the move too. Brian Robinson has taken over that backfield, and I think Gibson wants more touches, and he'll be a hot commodity. For the final hours of the trade deadline, he'll be a hot commodity. There's going to be a lot of teams that want his skill set.
Chase Young, is he going to get traded today?
I'd like to see it. Will he get traded today? I don't know. I'm probably leaning no because they franchise tagged him. But and since they got rid of Sweat already, I don't think they want to give up both of them right now.
Yeah.
But you can get a lot for them.
The Commanders can do a lot today, in all honesty. If they play their cards right, they can move a lot of people. And because Sam Howell wasn't bad.
No, he played well last week. He's still not fantastic. He's not somebody that I'm, screaming his name off the mountaintops. But he's serviceable. That's for darn sure.
Should we go into our Week 9 game picks?
Let's do it. And I have Cams here on standby with Siri.
Okay. So the overalls are, I am 13-6. I did call the Panthers. They were due. Barely. They barely won. They did. Cam is 6-13, which kind of.
Where am I?
8-11.
And what are you again?
13-6. Last week you had the Rams, the Browns.
I know. I took
Texans. And
I took a massive dump last week. Didn't
you had the Titans winning, but I mean that's what you got. So first game is Chiefs Dolphins. This is in London, or no, not London. They're overseas series, I guess. No, I had it.
Germany? I bet it's in Germany.
Yes.
And the only reason I knew that was because of the talks to move the Super Bowl. Germany was another option outside of London, which they should never move the Super Bowl. That would be so dumb. That would, I mean, that would be that's the league spitting in the face of NFL fans to move the Super Bowl and teams for that matter. Let's go with the. I like McDaniel. Let's go with the Chiefs.
Chiefs. I'm also going with the Chiefs.
Cam will take the Chiefs. He wants to root for the Chiefs.
So we're all going to go for the Chiefs this week because I can't see the Chiefs losing how bad they did this past weekend again.
Yeah, they'll probably bounce back. All right, give me a new one.
Bills, Bengals.
Bengals. Give me the Bengals.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Hey, Siri, flip a coin. So he's going with the Bengals. It is tails. And for those that want to know at home, heads is away, tails is home.
All right. Jets, Chargers. Chargers, Jets.
I will take the better offense. Give me the Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Jets.
Hey, Siri, flip a coin. Tails. He is going Jets as well.
And our last one, since we had a fourth game, Giants, Raiders.
Giants, Raiders. Probably the ugliest game on the schedule. So thanks for choosing that, my guy.
Yep.
I will take the Giants.
I will choose the Raiders.
Hey, Siri, flip a coin. Tails again. Goodness. 3 tails in a row. Raiders for Cam. So those are the 4 games. I like the Chiefs pick. I agree with you that they're in bounce back mode. And I just think they have the clutch gene that I don't know if the Dolphins have just yet. But if the Dolphins win, I think the Dolphins could easily be your representation of the AFC in the Super Bowl. As for the other games, complete toss-ups, in my opinion. Bills, Bengals, Sunday Night Football is, if Joe Burrow plays his best football, the Bengals could easily steal one here. As for the Chargers and Jets, the Jets have the better defense, the much better defense, and that's how they win football games, with that defense. So Herbert's got to be on his A game. And then Giants, Raiders. The Giants they're a team that should have won last week. Graham Gano misses a field goal. You allow the Jets to march back down the field, and, everything just kind of crumples in your face, right? Is Tommy DeVito the starting quarterback? I don't know, but I trust whatever starting quarterback in New York more than I trust Jimmy G. Good Lord, is that guy atrocious to watch.
Which kind of sucks because he was decent at one point, but
Well, not really. Was he ever decent? He played on a really good 49ers team, and it's easy to be really, really good on a really good team. When your offensive line is unbelievable, take DeMarco Murray, for example. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Played in Dallas. Murray didn't really have a name until he got to Dallas, and then he was a leading rusher. Why? Because the best offensive line was making holes for this guy. You could have ran for 2,000 yards through holes that line gave you. right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think with Jimmy G. Jimmy G is the same guy as Kirk Cousins, right? He's a guy that like has a ceiling and he can't ever get above it. Kirk can get above it a lot more than Jimmy G in like literal statistical categories for football, but Jimmy G is like 238. Like that's what he throws for. Like
Yeah,
Jimmy G doesn't get above 238. Kirk Cousins can throw for 375 if he wants to, but then other games he's like 238. Right? Jimmy G can't get over that threshold. So I don't know if Jimmy G's ever like been good. He backed up Tom Brady, so people were hype about that. Then he goes over and he competes in a Super Bowl, right? On a really good team, might I remind people. And then he gets the contract in Las Vegas. And what has he shown you? He's shown you that he is a strictly average quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Lights are too bright for Jimmy G, as you could say. But
I feel good about my plays.
I think I'm taking a lot of risks this week on my picks, but the Panthers one, that was my most confident of last week, betting wise.
Imagine saying that. The Panthers are my most confident pick. What?
They were due.
What's happening?
It just makes sense. They were due. I don't know why. Just in my brain, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna win. So, well, that's the show. Trade talk, trade deadlines will be done today. So we'll see who moves. Watch out for some of your players getting traded, finding new people to pick up on the waivers. Yep.